Welcome back again to AKF TV. I am sorry for the interruption that we had shortly and do apologize for that. For all who has just joined us, again, my greetings to you, and I thank you for taking the time to look at this broadcast. I thank again all that have been so supportive and have given such great commentaries, input, and feedback to the broadcast that was done by Charge d'Affaires Marianne Lucy and myself during the last few days. Our Ustream is very simple while we expand and structure better, but we have already started using it because it's necessary and it's important that we get moving on the agenda in accordance to the planning. Many people have signed on to the ARC and trying to find their way around, some easily, some with some difficulty. So we are addressing easier manners and additional site route maps that they can find their way around. However, that's not the reason that I have informed the staff that I need to have another broadcast today to clarify and explain a few things. First of all, one need not be a part of the kingdoms of Africa to support the agenda of the Federation. One need not be a part of the ancestry of the Federation of FOS or AKF to support the agenda. One needs to be human. That's the first requirement. As I stated before, our lines broke a short while ago. I've had very many inboxes in the respective accounts that are public or for the operations of this project with many questions. Some I could understand, and some I just had to shake my head because helping on this agenda just takes, firstly, one thing: commitment. I respect all people and of all nations. And I remember, as I had stated yesterday in a previous broadcast, that I had removed because it was just not satisfactory. The road I had to take to get to the point that we can now even start addressing the agenda. It was not easy, but it also was not that difficult. And we had a lot of support, not by the great, great, great ones of humanity, but just the massive amount of the population that counts even more, just the everyday people that are around us each day. I remember in starting, I refused support in terms of requesting funds or this from anyone outside or inside of the family, because I believe, and I still do, that we have the capability, we have the possibility, we have the options to do many things ourselves if we have the will to get it done. I, for the purpose of what laid ahead in this present future, decided years ago to study law, private and public, economics and business. Was not easy, as a single mother of 3 young children, and their father was deceased a few years earlier. But it was done. I did not work in those arenas because that was not the purpose. The purpose was acquiring the knowledge so I can apply that within the agenda in order to have a greater chance of realistic success. On that road, I have received many criticism, but as well a lot of support. Why? Because we live in a world where there's the do's and do nots, or don't do's. I believe rules were made in order to regulate the household of humanity for the better operations of the internal chambers of the house of humanity. But it should never, ever be to suppress, oppress, or put on the duress the human soul. I have never spoken much to the people around me in the years that I have lived abroad and outside of Africa and inside of Africa, of course, but outside, about our house or who we are, because I did not think that it was relevant. If it is relevant, I'll speak of it. If it's not relevant, let us speak about something else. Because I wanted the focus on what was being done and not the focus in me. Equally, at this time, I rather have the focus on the agenda, because the agenda is the purpose, the mission, and the aim, not me, Shebah. It's not. Equally as well, we are not looking for the wealthy. All are welcome, they are welcome too, but it should not be the focus. I've had so many inboxes from people that we really would like to help, but we think we are not good enough, or we do not have the resources, or we do not have this, or we don't know how we will work with all these people. A lot of things, and I value it and I say thank you for it, but it's important that I send you a message from myself. As I stated earlier, I think before the transmission was finished, I have no idea if it transmitted in the first place. But I will hear after, but if it was transmitted, I will recap what I was saying. When I started the journey of Project 7 Phoenix, it was over 25 years plus ago. And step by step on that journey, I had a vision, I had an idea, but I needed to learn how can I formulate it. How can I bring that over to the people so they understand the why of it? And is it justifiable before the Most High? Because that is the only throne of consequence. I remember finding it at first very difficult. How can I get the things I need done and take care of my responsibilities as a mother? And also, at the same time, I was studying alongside of that, advanced studies in what I needed. And I was trying to just shuffle all together to get it done. Our first little office started in my home at that time in Europe, and communicating each day as best we can with Africa. And the communication structure was not that very progressive even at that time, but we were able to go through it. I will explain this, and I will explain a bit more about myself on that, because I have to admit that the staff may be right. At times, it's good that people can identify with you and feel more at home in matters that they may think, because you're a queen and because you're that, you're different. I eat with one spoon at a time, just like everybody else. I do. I do not at any time, or I've ever had, feel myself greater than anyone. Otherwise, I would not be on my wall each time speaking to all, or speaking to anyone I meet outside. I just don't fully introduce myself. Just, hi, I'm Shebah, or I just say hi, because I want to hear the feedback from the people. When we started this agenda, we started with a will and a mission. Maybe one day I will go back much further and say the root start, which was actually 45 years ago, but it's not now the moment to explain. I will over the actual start of the planning. At that time, I remember speaking to my grandmother, who was then still in life, and explaining a lot of things. Just she was my all, and her spirit still is. And I need to get this done, and this and this and that and that. And she says, you need to go out and think of the field. You need to go to the fields, clear it, plant the crops, and then when you have that basket of goods and fruits of nourishment, then you go and bring it to the people. That meant a lot to me, even though at the time, even I thought I understood well all that she did because she spoke it at times in parables. But over the years, I understand the greater sense and meaning of it in my walk until now. As such, I decided this must happen, it shall happen, and I will get it done. No idea how, but I will get it done. As I said, I was studying at the time, and I will reiterate as much as I can from yesterday what I was explaining in the broadcast. I called on friends of mine in different regions and different countries, asking support, not of a monetary nature, but of other nature. My first call was to a wonderful friend of mine from the country of Scotland. His name is Ian Carmichael, and he was of Compact. I called Ian. I said, I'm busy with the law studies for the purpose you know. I need to take care of the children, but most important, I need staff. I need a team to start working. I needed people. So I needed to have an income, an extra income to do that, because I did not lean on the family. I asked no one outside. I had to go to the field and clear it. And I think that was my first real job, working for someone else and getting done. And it was quite interesting in the laboratory of Compact and putting all these things together. I did crash a few of the computers because I just touched it and it just went like this. So I had to wear these gadgets on my hands so I do not damage even more, but it went well. I remember the time going in there and looking around, and by my nature I would look first and see, and I decided this is great, but this is terrible. I had to wear these very heavy shoes with this metal at the front, those protection shoes. I remember them well. And I felt so funny. I felt like some sort of soldier walking in these things, and it was incredible, but it was interesting. So stilettos went out, I put that on, and okay, here we are, let's get to work. Within a few weeks, I had myself stayed back after working hours without telling anyone. I stayed until the next morning for about 2 or 3 days and reorganized the whole department where I was responsible for, seeing that everything was automatic, in the sense of, I'm thinking Dutch because it was in Holland, in the sense of it was too chaotic. A lot of temps were coming and going back, and you had the staff and you had the people taking care of the internal matters of the computer, taking care of the chips, taking care of this and all of these things, and a lot of theft. So I sat down, and I remember calling downstairs to the security and asking, do you have that red and white tape that you all put outside at times? May I have a roll of it? And they were always very friendly and really nice people, so they brought it upstairs. And I said, what you going to do? I said, I'm going to make a little Africa here because I cannot work in chaos. And then I called to another department where our dear friends Atkinson was working. I said, Alan, please, I need those huge rollers of this black tape, or wrappings that they put around these pellets with the computers. I said, I want as much of that as you can give to me. Please bring it and leave it there. And I remember staying on each day with, I was there when the day shift was there, the afternoon was there, the night, even though I was just from the day. And I stayed. And I organized everything that's on the A, what is B, on the B, what is C, what is this, what is that. There's a number, there's a login, there's a log out. If you want to take something, sign your name off, sign your name in. You can look on the chart, look in your system when I was finished. If you needed anything, you type the word in and you found where it was. And I just put a band around it. Anyone entering this area must sign for it because the company was losing money. A lot changed within that, and I think it was within week 5 or 6 that I was moved up and had other responsibilities and got rid of the shoes. I got rid of those shoes because they were awful. But I got rid of the shoes. And we went on there, and it progressed like that. Not by waiting to see, oh, what do I have to do, but by taking the initiative and doing it. And I was able to do that, and I tried integrating that step by step, that were the things we are doing, and explaining to all that is coming, you give of yourself, give of who you are, follow your instinct, and do what you see needs to be done. Don't wait. Don't wait. If you give a commitment, if you make a commitment, whether it is for a temporary job for a purpose, or it's for whatever in life, give all of it. When this started, to explain to all of those that think they're nothing, we're in a factory, or we're here, we are there, please, please. No one is nothing. No one. When I started with those children, alongside that, I was doing my studies. In order to hire the staff that I needed step by step towards the time, and that was before 2000, I had to take also jobs where I did not have to have a contract. I did not want a contract job, needed the fat checks, but did not want the contract job because it meant I did not have the possibility to make use of my time the way I needed. What did I do? Here's where the criticism came in, but I just smile at it still. I saw an ad in the papers from a company that was called the Mall BV, and I went, and it was picking apples. Click, clop, pack, click, clop, pack. I packed apples in the fields next to the farmers, next to the housewives, next to the students, because I wanted to pay Africa's bill and not ask, can you help? When we needed to expand with a second worker, and again, I'm a single mom with just a small income, billing all, not living off the family, not taking anyone's money, I did not want it. I need to do it myself. I took a second one in a factory next to the factory workers from all different countries that was there, -4, packing fish in boxes. Anyone know who I was? No. I was just one of the colleagues, and I packed it. It was so cold. My fingers were all numb. And in between, I'll run home, take care of my children, take care of their dinner, and speak to the staff I had working in one of the bedrooms that was changed in order to start the first Nubian secretariat there. One of the first, or the first, very, very first, that came and started working with me is someone who just met me perchance at, I think it was a function of mutual friends. Her name was Wang Guo from China. Spoke English with a strong, strong Chinese accent, had a heart of gold, and was at the time the #3 top singer in China. Wang Guo directly and indirectly, and her family, many years later, came to mean a lot. I will try and recap to get to the eventual point, but I had promised to speak a bit more about this. We needed more and more people. So my days were about 1 hour in the office getting the things that I needed done, and I had to go one to the other. At one point in time, we needed to get the internet bills paid. We needed to get extra computer. We had faxes, and you had those horrible fax rolls back then. We needed the fax roll in the system. I needed to pay more electricity. I needed things to do in order to get this mission going. So I called on another friend who had this huge American car, a Chevrolet Caprice. I remember the Chevrolet Caprice, dark green and lots of leg room. Unfortunately, they should make those cars again. They were much more comfortable, a bit huge, but they were comfortable. And I called and said, "What is it? What's up? You are up to something?" Because I think they read it on my face. I was up to something. I said, "Yes, I need a car, and I need some of those moccasin, those black rubber boots that a lot of farmers use or use it in work. You can walk through and not get wet, and there's all different names, but I needed some of those work boots. And I need you to take me to the farmers. I need to borrow one of your big jeans, and I need to borrow one of your shirts, because I have had one jeans in all my life when I was 16, and that was it. But I needed to dress up the part." I went into town, I walked, and I got myself one of these head ties, and I tied up my head, put a cap over it, put this t-shirt on, put this jacket on, put on these big boots, put on the pants, tuck it in, and hope I stood like a farmer and looked the part, because I was about to go into market, literally the market. We went to a place called Fisher's Dyke, and we bought these huge bags, 14-kilo bags of potatoes, 14-kilo bags of onions, filled up the car, filled up the back seat, filled up everywhere, and a part of the front with putting my legs at the side of the car, we packed up stacks of eggs of 40. Then we drive into the city to the harbor, because in the harbor you had those what is called binavat, those ships that you know that go from between the different European countries taking goods internally. On those ships you had a lot of times families are living there with their children and everyone. They live there, they work from there, and when they stop, then they replenish their stocks. I'm terrible with balance, and these things had these ships had like this smooth surface, and you had to try and walk over there, and I had to try and figure out walking with these boots and getting there and trying not to laugh too much, because it was funny. The laugh started trying to get out of the house without being recognized like this, because I needed to have that done, and I needed to have not need any blah blah. Why are you dressed? No, no, no. I need to get this done. That's it. So in my regalia of that moment, I was there, and we will go and we calling eggs, onions, tomatoes we had at one point in time, potatoes, and we will go on those ships. And after a while, my old friend who was now deceased, his name was Garrett Chef, he would help me with those heavy bags, and we will go and we will sell. I will get home and there's a little bit of money, and I can pay the staff. I remember one day I had 1 guilder left, which was I think $1.15 in translated. And with that, I sat with my daughter. Okay, we have $1 left, but I paid everyone. Let's see what we do. And we went out and got 3 packs of spaghetti, and we used 1 pack each day. And that became a pattern to see that the agenda and the people were paid and everything could move forward. And it was interesting because the children participated, even at that small, in getting a lot of things done. If I'm edging this event back, it's my dog Nala, my little 15-week-old puppy that is at my feet ever so now and then. But we got step by step some of the things moving, which was important. Why did I not want to advertise? A matter of shame? Not at all. No, 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 no. If I was, I would not speak about it. I rarely speak about it, but at times, sometimes it's good that people know I do not live in a golden carriage. I have no interest. I'm not against it, but I may take that golden carriage and use it for this mission. It's more practical because with that we can have many golden carriages that carry many more people to the destination where we desire. So that was the first few years. One of the staff, as I said, was from China. And we started trying to get t-shirts sold, trying to get all these tradable goods sold so we can have the possibility to have the offices as well open within Africa and earn it, because there was no money. There was no money. You cannot go and say, we want to help people in poverty, and say, okay, but I need you all to help us get a fax, get us this, get us this. No. It was my responsibility, and it is my responsibility because I made it my responsibility when I started this. Over the years and going back and forth from the one to the other, get back, go to the fish factory, put on this cover on your head and this white clothes, come back out, run home, come back, see that everything is done, stay awake all night, working on documents, working on files, getting all dressed up, fixed up, makeup, airing, back to the meeting, change the clothes in the gas station, have Garrett there, change a car, get things done, and we went on like this. Because there was a purpose. What I did not know is, while I think nobody had any idea that I had to take all these different jobs to take care of paying them, they long noticed and did not tell me anything. But more so, it went out to countries outside, and that included China. Over the years, the relationship built. And within that, through that, I met a very, very great person and a very great friend of mine. His name is Perry Nomal Hammer, who is NIT. We have been friends for over 22 years. An American, Native American from the Cheyenne Nation. Very great man, very powerful family. At that time, I had no idea how we were going to see to this day or that day or that day in the future. I just knew we had to focus on what had to be done now and day to day to see that we can move forward on this agenda. But as I said, we kept going, we kept working, we kept trying. Years and years later, I will skip because I do not want to keep your time occupied. I was in Switzerland, just flew up from Africa. I was in Switzerland and I got a call from my then banker in Liechtenstein, and a very, very good friend. Wonderful person, fantastic, fantastic businessman. And he said, I've got some people there that would like to meet you. Can you come over? And it was like a 45 minutes drive from where we were, but it was worth it because Liechtenstein is the most beautiful place ever. It's so tiny and cozy. So I went. And after the complimentaries and hi and hello and all the formalities, I walked into the conference room at the villa. And someone said, hello, sister. And a voice that I recognized but did not register because it did not really make sense what's that person doing there, because I did not know all knew each other. So I was like, that's second. And I walked in, and there is my friend Perry Nolan Hammer, and with this huge hug. And I'm a bit stung, like, what on earth are you doing there? How did you know you? And what happened? And they were laughing, a big laugh, and they had everything set there. And then we were speaking. As I said, when I was busy picking the fish, picking the apples and packing the fish and selling my eggs, tomatoes and onions, 17 or 18 years before, a lot of people were looking. I did not know. It's not my interest. I don't mind people's business, really, even if they're right there by me. No, it's not right. And it somehow gave the confidence that I may be able to support the agenda that they had at that time for the 55 African nation, which was an agenda that had a huge budget going with it for turnkey projects, not of a governmental nature. It was not with the governments, but it was not from the government in China. This is private. So I sat there still totally lost, but enjoying an excellent cup of coffee and listening to all. And then I think a few members of a member of government, one of the African government was there sitting, and I'm observing all until I heard my name mentioned. And my sister is the one that is going to be in charge of this because I wanted to review this and this. I was like, okay, thanks for the notification there. At the time, it was about a $6 billion project that was signed before I was spoken to because he could not locate me, but did not know that my banker was also related to him and all sort, but we got there, so I was looking. And I remember looking over the paperwork and I said, Perry, this is a very good thing, but there's holes in it so big you can drive a truck through it because you must see that all parties are really covered and addressed on it and their interests, and I did not see that. What I did not know is he knew that and somehow was testing my reaction. So he laughed and I just looked and I said, okay, I caught you. You knew I was going to say that. And I did. The total budget was a budget at the time of $32.8 billion that was needed, that was planned for Africa and getting the African projects off the ground. I just sat and listened because I was still of the party. I do not want any financial favors. I want whatever we do that it be earned, because it does not make sense in giving all these fundings and loans and fundings and loans to the poor, and as soon as they start getting up, they need to take all back, pay back and pay back and pay back and pay back in such huge amounts. It will take decades before it's paid. If we can use our resources to earn it, it is fine. I said, what I need is support and the helping hands to get the bridge, that bridge that is needed to access our resources and let it work for us so we can pay for the goods, we can pay for the services, and we can pay for the agenda and hold our integrity, self-esteem, and dignity. And I remember my dear brother, he calls me brother, looking at me and said, you know, I'm native. I know exactly what you mean, that's why I came to you. But also they were looking over the years from when I was doing what seems to be the simplest things. At times in life, you do not know why you do things, but just do it, because you never know what is the outcome much later. It doesn't mean that we have the funds and finances to do everyday things and everything operation. No, we don't. We have to work for it still today. But it means once we have what we need to get that part done, the agenda itself is not my immediate worry, because the fruits of the labor years before and trust and friendship has seen established that it is possible. What is impossible is at times trying to get all to understand that in order to achieve change, in order to make a difference, we must first become that change. We must first become that difference, and we must first get off our pillars and thrones and whatever and become the servant. We must. We must. And in those times and in those wars, even trying to learn to ride a bike to get from one to the other, falling down many times on that bike and being terrified and getting up, oh dear, help me, Father, I've got to ride this thing. I've got to ride this thing because I cannot afford to see about getting a car now. I sold everything, every single thing. I sold it to put it into the projects. By 1999, we were a step further. And by 2000, it was my driving instructor, because I had others drive me before, but I thought, okay, now I can't afford to be keeping the drivers anymore. I have to get to drive. I could not drive. It was my driving instructor, his name was Willem Dowser, who became such a good friend. And it was there in their driving school that was underneath their home, they had it split, that we started slowly trying to have the few officers. Years later, by 2002, much has happened in that time, and that is written within history, because at that time, because we were beginning to make steps and get support, a lot of trials and tribulations became. We've had everything from accusations. I've had hostage holdings. I have had AK-47 that my head was in Sudan. I've had so many things on this agenda, but I'm still here. And the agenda is still going to happen because it's in the interest of all people, it's in the interest of humanity. Project 7 Phoenix is an agenda that means development of the trans-African nations and duplication of that agenda in the Federation of the South nations and the communities outside participating. How it is structured, it means going into every single district, every nook and cranny, and going to the people, to the people. And I need normal people to go speak to those people. I'm a normal person too, just like you. I need to go speak to them. Go meet, what have we got here? We go to District 1, what is there? Is there tomatoes? Is there stones? Is there dried leaves? Whatever it is, what can we do to see that an income is immediately generated, which is a secondary part of the agenda, that the people have work. So while they have work, then we can focus on the development. You cannot have hungry people falling on the street while you're building a road. I would like to see the people having the food that they can eat and they can drink, so they have the strength to participate as owners of the project. Therefore, equally, I'm not looking, dear people, for those who have great investment, because over the years, just one came forward. But hundreds of ordinary everyday people, from driving schools, from market people, from the people that was next to me in the factory that later wanted to just strangle me when I gave a bit more information there and there. But they were all there. I really don't care if you're the wealthiest in the world or you have nothing. You have always something. You have yourself that you can give of yourself, and you can commit to this. When we go into those areas, we see what is there. And then we apply the agenda that has been designed and formulated over so many years, and it will work. But it will not work if we keep waiting for a handful of people to come and make the change that we say we all want and we say that this world wants. It takes us. Whether it's you who are the secretary, you who's out of work, you who think there's no tomorrow. There will be no tomorrow if we don't make the change today. I need you. I need you. Whether you're incarcerated and have access to the internet, whether you're on the street, wherever you are, if you wish to help, I'm calling you. Because 55 nations development, in terms of how this agenda is formulated, and the duplication of that within the areas of Asia, to India, to CARICOM, to the African Americans community that need help there, means the participation of all, and means totally forgetting the borders we have put within our minds. I don't care about race. I'm all races because I'm a human. And we started with one mother. All are from the one cradle. Therefore, your letters in inbox, I thank you with all my heart. But I would like to say, no one is inconsequential. No one. And on this agenda, I need the man on the street. I need you who are looking that would like to make a change but don't have a voice. I need you who would like to make a change but don't know how. I need you who would like to make a change but have tried and have been totally disillusioned. Trust me, I have been on that street many times, and I guess at times an hour each day of utter frustration. But I'm still there. It's not for me I'm doing that. It's not for recognition. It's not to be on a newspaper here and there, because I don't go anywhere. That's not my interest. My interest has always been the agenda, this agenda, and getting there. And we need to get the bridge. In order to try and find the bridge of uniting the people, I have given the instruction that one of the projects that was discussed in 2000, I think, with His Majesty King Adam Kasambura Adam Ra II and myself, was a royal tournament. At that time, I did not think that we were ready and we had the capabilities to do it to the best of our ability. I believed that if it has to be done, it should not be for one part of Africa, one district in Africa. It must be to cover all of Africa, and it must include the people outside of Africa, from the diaspora and from outside the diaspora. I am blessed to be of a line that is from Africa, but was our this last generation since 1960, whatever and back, when Aswan was being messed up and so was Nubia. We too have been out. And I am blessed to be who I am because it means I am richer with the knowledge and the understanding of what is needed from there outside and equally what is needed from inside. We are the change. And we can sit or we can stand still. Change is not going to come because it means there's no motion. The water is stagnant. It's just there. To make the change, we have to see that we have the waves formulating. And no one out there will I ever say you cannot help or you cannot support unless your intention is negative. All are welcome. Whether you have one hand and can get on the keyboard to help the promotion, help the staff, help the art, do it. Are we saying everyone is doing this for nothing? No, because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I believe there is different ways that one can invest and help humanity and help projects and help the world. I do not believe that donation is always the answer because it's too easy. It's not helping people to try and find different ways of getting things done, and they need to. But I do believe that the greatest thing we have is time, but it's also the most luxurious in many ways, and something that at this time, in this generation, we may not misuse or play with. Every time has a season, and every season has its time. This generation has a purpose, a very important purpose, and I believe that with all my heart, but also in saying that we have certain things that has to be done. And in order to do it, we need all of the people. And in order to be able to have the people to facilitate that purpose, we must also put something in there that they can build themselves while building the agenda. It is why the Ark Royal Chapters is formulated that based on our collective efforts, based on how we do our work, the fruits that is coming out of that in terms of the commercial aspect, a part will be used to duplicate the agenda in regions where they cannot afford to. And a 20% part of that net is going towards the people that are working on it, because I need you at that point in time, full time on it, because it will take decades and decades to get this done, where it's needed in the regions of poverty or where help is needed in and outside of Africa, because Africa has no monopoly on suffering. A few years ago, we could say Africa and the so-called third world, I so despise that term, were the ones suffering. At this present time, in this present global economical situation, no one is exempt. Yet, Project 7 Phoenix, though the focus is the area and the region of Africa, Asia, CARICOM and those places for duplication, and within the developed world where it is needed or requested in support, it affects all of us. All. Because we need goods and we will need services. We need craftsmen. We need people to carry the water so someone can drink. We need people who can cook the food so the teams can eat. We need people. We need those goods and services, and some Africans can provide and some they cannot. Which means if you're speaking about 55 countries, you're speaking about over 1 billion people, and the duplication within the Asia, Indonesia, India, all those places where we have a lot of people there already participating, and within the art, we need goods and services. Therefore, in the regions and area that participating, it means there will be a dip in unemployment because small businesses can now grow with the surety of a service that can be done within the agenda. But in order to get it there, I need all the help I can get. And whether it's a 1 hour or 30 minutes, as I said in the last thing, I need the commitment that people are ready to do it, because you are investing in your future equally as we're investing in the people of Africa, because humanity is one. This purpose is one. I do understand when you come on the arc, it's not fantastic as Facebook, lots of things done. It's simple, it's our own, it's private. We have no ads, we have no nothing, we do not use your information, we don't check. You're there, you're private. I respect your privacy because I respect my privacy. But we are there. One part of the arc is the headquarters where work is being done within the different countries, and our communication center is being there. And one is the social community. The social community is separate yet an integral part, because there are some there just like the quiet of the art to invite their friends and their family and come, and they're interested in the project. Some because they want to learn more. It's open to all. There is a screening because I need to protect the privacy of the people in the social network and also of the executive and staff to secure this agenda, because some like it, some do not. Well, at least a lot of the middlemen that has been earning off the back of the farmers would not like it, because the farmers' goods will be sold in accordance that they get the profit, and with that can build their places. So some people would like it, some people don't, but as long as heaven likes it, I'm fine. I've learned to try and grow crocodile skin. It's very difficult, but I do try. I have to. I have to. It's not that I'm tough. God knows I'm not. But I believe in this agenda. I believe in the purpose. I remember once in Kasala, I think I wrote about it somewhere, there was these gorgeous children, so beautiful. Blessed be Nubia and Sudan. Every single race and shade you will find there, the ancestors of so many lines. And these children were all gathering around me, Malika Sheba Twa, Malika Sheba, and they're calling and we're playing, and I'm trying to run behind them and not trip on the long ceremonial wear that unfortunately I had on then. And I remember asking them, so what would you like me to bring when I come back and visit you? Mind you, those children did not know of that visit, so they could not be coached. And these cute little girls, Islamic, so they all had the cute little veils with the embroidery and everything, just so cuddly. They were there. And they said, Malika, water. These children did not ask nights. They did not ask to get this new jacket or that new jacket. They asked water. I had to walk away for a minute. I think there was probably about 50, 60 children all around. And it was asking each, and they translated for Arabic, they just want water. So I went to where the water was coming, because I had to go up to New Halfa. And after Kasala, I went to New Halfa, and in Kasala, they were showing me where the water was coming. And the water was so red. It was just totally red, because from the region of Ethiopia and those places where a lot of things are happening and a lot of companies from outside are building things, the water that was seeping into the Nile, our blessed Nile, was so red. It is a sort of terracotta color, and it goes all the way down to South Sudan, where those people have to drink it each day. I went to visit the hospital, and I remember my staff being very mad because I was just hugging people in their beds. It just moved me so much. But there were people, there were entire families, mom, dads, and their children lying in bed there, all needed kidney dialysis machine, because the entire family had kidney problems because of the water. And I understood why the kids wanted water. I went looking into the maternity wards, and there were 2 mothers on a single bed giving birth, while one on the floor with drips because there was nothing. Is this just isolated to Africa? No, it's in many places. And I fear it will be even in the places that we call now developed. If the world keeps going in the direction it is at present, and unfortunately, all that is written shall become, it shall. But we are there to see as a collective humanity that we create the foundation that we can build again and we can stand and that we can look above and say, Dear heaven, we have heard. We are each other's keeper. We must get the water to the children. We must see that not one part of a district or one part of a community or one part of a nation is developed, because it means we are sentencing ourselves, each and every one of us worldwide, we are sentencing each other to the trials and tribulations of poverty. Because we as the collective have the possibility, have the power, and have the ability to make the change. To make the change. I said once, if everyone on earth was just to give $1 and each of the family members, and in representation of the family that was not capable of doing that, we can change or start the change of the world in 1 hour. Can we make miracles? Yes, we can. Because we were given the choices and we were given the power to make change if we want to make the change. There's about 200 countries that is now forming the United Nations, which means 200 heads of states of governments and their governments. 200 for a population that is over 7 billion. If there was a festival or event or something of that nature, and it was expected there'll be 1 billion people attending, even 200 police forces would not be enough to control the capacity. How much more so to address the global needs of the population of our one Mother Earth? It is unrealistic. We each need the other's hand and support. And by building that, we are building our nations, and we are building our governments, and we are participating with the option of a voice. We are. But if we do not do that, if we do not take the chance, if we do not try to make an effort, then we have no reason to complain about anything. Because when there's a will, there will always be a way, and there will always be a window open that we can get on the road towards making the changes that is needed. You come on the ark, it may be quiet. You come and party if you want to there. Be at home. Find about the information. Find about the purpose. Who do I need in the task force? I need the task force of ordinary, everyday people, from rich to poor, from handicapped to not handicapped. Can you speak? Can you not speak? Can you understand? That's all. Can you understand? Can you understand the vision? Can you understand the purpose? Can you understand the purpose is you? I would not be here forever. No one will be here forever. I do not think I would like to be here forever. But I would like to see those that follow have a better life, because we are the ancestors of tomorrow. We cannot keep blaming the past. We cannot keep blaming our governments. We cannot keep blaming our kings and queens. We cannot keep blaming the neighbors, the media, this one or that one. We are responsibility as the ancestors of today for the legacy we leave tomorrow for the children. May I ask, if each of you now would stop and think a minute, is the world as it is today, where after we have mastered to this point technology in so many forms, in so many fields, where people are being to living longer now because of advancement in medical fields. If we were able to take the man to the moon and back to earth, why is there still poverty in the chambers of earth's homes and families? If with all of that it's still there in the morning, It will still be there in the evening, and it will still be there tomorrow, and we'll be taking this ugly, monstrous thing that has caused so much suffering, so much death, and it's coming more and more into the rooms of the developed world, and that is what we'll be leaving our children. I do not take responsibility for that, and I will not sign that. And I will work and strive to make the change and build our task force, put the federation together, and with everyone that is coming there to help us get organized. I am using our very simple UB Stream TV. We need people that can edit the videos. We need people that can do different things. We need people ready to give their time as investment and interest. That the interest that is built is not only in their interest and their children, but the financial benefits and fruits in the long run will be coming back to them as a legacy alongside that of, we hope, a world of unity, a world of peace, a world where people can walk down the street and smile at each other, a world where the farmers are again respected because they are taking care of the human breadbasket, a world where everybody has a chance and an opportunity to do something with their life and they have a purpose, because the purpose will be each other. And then, and only then, can we truly say we are each other's keeper. And we can truly say we ask not what our country can do for us, but what can we do for our country? What can we do? And do it. That's the purpose of the Ark. And I need women. I need lots and lots of women. I need all the mothers to come together, because I truly believe if the world governments had a majority of females, we would not have wars, because no mother will send a child off to war. None. None. Not I believe feminist is feminist. No, it's practical. It's the same practical reason why we manage the home, why we take care of the housekeeping, and we're able to juggle all together and still bring our family and young nations up. I need women participating, whether you are from 13 to 130, I need you. I need you there. If you cannot help in this way, there's always something that can be done. And those tiny little things become the collective that make all happen. I thank you for your attention. And I thank all of you who have inboxed me. And I hope in some way that I have been able to explain it's not about money. It is again about commitment. It's not about what is your name, or whether you have a title or no title, or whether you have possessions or no possession, or whatever your sex, whatever the gender, whatever the orientation, be hetero or gay, happy or sad. I need people who are willing to support change, to come together and let it happen. Or we'll be hypocrites of ourselves in so many ways. And I know I use that a lot because that's the only word that can define exactly what I mean, because that is exactly what I mean. If we need change, we must see that a change become. And we must become that change. That is the Ark. The Ark has the population capacity as Facebook and all these sites. We are very small, just a small community now, because some come and say, and it's not too much there, but we have everything. We have the facilities, we have the entertainment facilities alongside the office, because we see the headquarters as having a lobby and an atrium where people can be entertained, visitors can come, people that like to know more can come, who wants to hang around there all day can come, while the work is being done. And we are getting the feedback because we are constantly in communication with the people and at all levels of the throne, of the crown, and of the executive leadership. It's one. I'm in the atrium there just as I am on Facebook. I do get criticism for doing that. I said, okay, fine. It is me. I need work to be done. And if I'm going to send the people to the field, then I must be able myself to get up and go to the fields. If I'm going to ask you to come and dig in the mud or dig in the dirt that is planted, I am there as well, ready to dig in the dirt and ready to dig in the mud to get it done. And if that means I do not fit the profile, to some that is acceptable for one of royal house and royal throne, bless your heart be. I must first be me. I can't be you. I can't be anybody else. I can just be me, Shebah. And we have a challenge. We have a challenge. And the challenge is, if we can go to the moon, if we can do all the incredible things that we are doing, why can't we come together and address poverty? Why can't we come together and stop waiting for things to happen, and within that address, see that we secure our own futures in terms of jobs, in terms of employment, and in terms of sustaining and maintaining that for our children growing up? What are we going to tell all those young people in universities that have a future or would like to have a future, and we know it's becoming more and more limited? What are we going to say? So to all nations, wherever you are, all people, whatever the nation, whatever the race, whatever the religion, whoever and wherever you are, if you wish to help, I thank you and I welcome you with all my heart. And I ask that you try and motivate more to come there. It means we will have a small chaos before we get all organized, but with each other's help, we can do it. We can do it. I believe many people today living comfortable should not even be living where they're living. But how can you tell people, look, you people in the areas of Africa and otherwise where the water is rising, I need you all to move to higher grounds? How are they going to do that? It means we need the agenda in order to prepare things, and then we speak to the people that they have a realistic choice. Choice. And within that, before heaven, no one can say we did not know. We did not have a chance. We did not have the option. We were not able to do the right thing because of our government, our husband, our wife, our neighbor, the school teacher, our dog, and our cat, or whatever. We are responsible for our actions equally as we are for our inactions. And for all those who think the agenda has taken so much years getting step by step by step, if you need food and you expect to plant the seed in the same day and have the fruits in the same day, it's not possible. That what matters takes time. And on that road, on this journey, I've had a lot of things. I think at times probably that's why creation decided that my hair be white in preparation, because if not, I would have been naturally gray already, all on my own. Thanks for the black wigs, but all on my own because of a lot of things that I see. But it does not take away my hope for humanity and love for humanity and my purpose for humanity, because we are all of the cradle of Africa. All of us. All of us. So, again, I say thank you for your attention. I don't know when next I'm on because I've taken up too much of all of your times with 2 of these programs this week. I do hope it will build more. I'm sorry for my eye tearing. I've got one tiny fan next to me on because everything else has to be turned off for this transmission, and I am sweltering. But if it means having the chance to sit and say hello to you, to greet you and to speak to you and getting this agenda a little bit further, I thank you. And with that, in recapping a lot of the past, I thank all the people who was there. From my great friends and representatives in the US, Brian Rogers and everyone, to all the ones who were there along this road. And many people have suffered because of the agenda. But a lot of people have gained a lot more in terms of appreciation for humanity. Oh. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your attention. I hope I was able to verbalize all that I wish to say. And I hope in whatever way it had some meaning to you. And that whoever you are, you feel comfortable in coming forward and joining us. Before I go, And if I may ask all who speak different languages, please do me a favor, especially in the Art Row Facebook, would you please translate this little message on my behalf in your language on your page, because I have no idea how else to do it. In the art, at the top of the art site, there is an option to translate, because many people have been coming, but they have not felt comfortable because they could not have it in their language. Everything written on the art, even the text, whatever, can be in one go translated. Just tell them come, and as soon as you sign up, go quickly and press that translate button in whatever language, in French, in Arabic, in German, in whatever language. If you will please, those of my friends community or those outside wish to help and wish to support, I will really appreciate that. I thank all of you who are there. I thank all of you who have helped over the years. I thank all in the factories and out. I thank all of the team in that drag, from Wim to Anita, from Lawrence to Ronald, and everyone from then and now, because all together have contributed. And at the end of the day, all will be addressed. All. I thank all of the executives who have stayed over the years and fought that we got to this point and asked nothing. They put their faith in the vision and somehow believed in the vision that I tried to reflect to them, which at times I think is pretty incredible that they actually are understanding. They actually understand what I'm trying to say. Thank you for understanding, those who do what I'm trying to say. And thank you so much for coming forward. I wish you all a brilliant day. I hope to see you all in the ARC. I will be shortly in Facebook to say a quick hello, and I'll be definitely in the atrium to welcome all who are there. And I say again, thank you very much. Have a brilliant day and take care of each other. Forever one in heaven's light. I'm Shebah Sairah III. Thank you so much from AKF TV and my staff here, my dog Nala, and the fans that's about to go on, because this chocolate is totally melting at the moment. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.